All right, guys, so in this video, we're gonna talk about new construction in the Phoenix area. Obviously, it's really popular. For the last 40 years, there's just been continuous building going on, lots and lots of new construction. Everything just keeps growing outward. 20, 30 years ago, Chandler and Gilbert were basically hayfields, and today they're some of the most popular suburbs of the entire Phoenix metro. So we're gonna talk about pros and cons of new construction. There's a lot of pros that are obvious. If you're thinking about and researching buying a home, you've already got some of the pros going on in your mind. We're gonna talk about a couple other ones maybe you hadn't considered, but there are several cons, things that definitely aren't what they, are stacked up to be. Buyer's remorse is a real thing with new construction, so we're gonna get into those too. Let's get right into it. All right, so some of the obvious pros, and we'll get through these real quick, but again, they might not be obvious to you, is, you get the nicest, newest, most modern designs. These builders, especially the really big ones that are building the quote unquote more affordable new homes, they've got some really great architects and designers that are kind of planning these out. Of course, you're gonna get the nicest, newest stuff, but in these kinds of neighborhoods, your neighbors are gonna have pretty much the same thing. That's kind of how it becomes more affordable. We could talk about new construction as far as one-off custom homes. That's probably either for another video or a one-on-one conversation, which, by the way, our contact information is in the description below as well as here in the video. So take that number down in case you want to reach out and talk about your specific situation. But yeah, you're gonna get modern architecture and design when you get new construction. Super cool. It's very nice. Happy to show you some of the model home tours. In fact, one of our other videos, there's 7 different neighborhoods in Gilbert that you can check out. It's about 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Put it on your TV. Definitely fun to watch. Of course, one of the other things about new construction that's really exciting is the ability to upfront customize it. So if you have a kind of an idea of what you like, maybe you've seen some pictures online or in some old magazines or something that you really like, or maybe you have certain furniture and you want a certain color, you want tile, you want certain paint colors, all of that can be taken care of and put together in advance. Of course, again, there are some limitations, especially when you're doing more of the more popular new build communities here. You're definitely going to have a handful of options. We're not talking about full customization here, but it is definitely nice to be able to pick and choose what you're looking for, and we can definitely help advise you on which builders are offering which types of construction and design, because there are definitely some differences throughout the valley, which is enormous. The Phoenix metro, driving from the far southeast valley, we'll say Santan Valley, all the way to the northwestern part, that's about a 2-hour drive on Google Maps. I know when you're zooming in and looking at it, oh, there's Phoenix, but lots of different areas to choose from. So of course, another obvious benefit to new construction, there's less immediate maintenance. The roof is new, plumbing is new, flooring's new, everything's new. But with that, we'll get into some cons later, because new doesn't necessarily mean better. So we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, so builder warranties. Yeah, new construction does come with builder warranties, and there's a reason for that. Doesn't matter how good a builder might be perceived as, there's always gonna be problems. They have tons of different suppliers. They have their subcontractors who do their framing, their flooring, their tile work, their paint, and sometimes they're different contractors. Sometimes they're all the same. In fact, a little side tip, a lot of the builders out there, they're all using the same subcontractor. So the builder name might be different, the design might be different, but the guys that are actually doing the work, it's the same crews typically. So builder warranties are important though, because if something does go wrong, especially if you're buying from a reputable builder who has been around for a while and knows what they're doing, they've got the right systems and processes and people in place to make sure that they're warrantying and honoring the construction and the contract of what you got. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to have that there in place to take care of problems if and when they come up. Of course, it's better just to not have problems to begin with, but that's another story. Key takeaway here is there's a huge pro, builder warranties, but of course the con, who are the best builders, who actually honors their work, who can take care of things with the least amount of headaches for you. So living in the desert, especially the summer months, if you're buying a house just for the winter, this might not be as important to you, but energy efficiency is definitely becoming very important as energy prices start, continue to increase. In the olden days, if you want to call it that, you didn't have to build a house to be super airtight and insulated, because the air conditioning just keeps up. It doesn't really matter. The electrical bill isn't that bad. That's not really the case anymore. You want to basically have a house that's very airtight, has systems in place to circulate the air, get things going. A lot of new construction is definitely heavy on energy efficiency, and again, the different builders have different varying grades of this, but that is a huge benefit to buying a brand new house, is that you can get some homes that are insanely well insulated where where, you know, you can have a 3,500 square foot home with an electric bill that, you know, a 1,200 square foot home on an older construction home from like the 80s might, or 90s, you know, might be the same because it leaks so much. You know, newer construction has better windows, better insulation, better, you know, airtight setups. Definitely, again, it varies between the builders and how good that might be, but that's a huge benefit in my opinion for the longevity and long-term considerations of, you know, buying a home. Now, community amenities, especially a lot of the newer neighborhoods, you know, you're gonna get a lot of cool things. You get the swimming pools, and you have saunas and tennis courts and pickleball and, you know, all kinds of things depending on which neighborhood or neighborhoods you're considering. And of course, if you're watching this video here on YouTube and you're not quite sure where to look, again, the Phoenix metro area is enormous. There are definitely pros and cons to different areas depending on the kind of lifestyle you're looking to live or what you want to do when you're here. Or look, maybe you know, like a lot of people that come to the Phoenix area, their first thing in mind is just, I want to get out of winter. Well, check that box, because once you get here, no longer a problem, but now what? You know, is Scottsdale, you know, North Phoenix? Do you want to be in Gilbert or Chandler? Do you want to be way out in Surprise or Florence, or up in the mountains a little bit in Cave Creek or Rio Verde, or up in Fountain Hills where they've got way more, you know, mountain looks? Of course, these are really all nice areas, but they're nice for different reasons to different people. Now, getting to the point of new construction is mainly built on the outskirts of the Phoenix metro, and that kind of makes sense because if you go back to the 1950s, Phoenix, you know, was farmland mostly and started getting built out, and Scottsdale started getting built out, and decade after decade, the city got bigger and bigger and bigger. So point is, most new construction is going to be on the outskirts. You're going to be further away from the airports. You're going to be further away from the main freeways typically. Those are some of the things that, you know, are considerations to people and whether or not new construction communities are or are not right for you. And again, there's different new build neighborhoods in different areas. We can definitely point you in the right direction on that. Again, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about that and show you kind of what your options look like. We can jump on a Zoom call, share our computer screen. I mean, I can personally do that, or a member of my team would love to help as well, to kind of show you the lay of the land, if you will. So some of the cons, I'm gonna get through them, you know, relatively quick here. An obvious first one, higher prices. Yeah, you're buying a brand new house. It's kind of like going to a car dealership and buying the brand new car versus the one-year-old car that just got traded in. You're gonna pay a premium for that, but you should expect to get everything new, nice, done, you know, highest quality done, right? Well, yeah, you're gonna pay higher prices. But another con to go with that, you know, there's actually a couple of, there's a particular home inspector here in the Phoenix area. I'm not gonna name him, so if you watch his stuff, it might scare you away from buying new construction at all. And look, I don't want to scare you into not buying a new construction home, because there are, you know, some really good things about it. But he's definitely pointing out and maybe going over the top a little bit about, you know, some of the extremes, but there are definitely there's definitely some shoddy work going on out there. And again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, all of these different builders, and there's 20 plus different builders that, you know, are busy, that have names in the area. For the most part, they're all using the same subcontractors. So if you get a bad crew in a certain area, let's say, you know, Maricopa or Santan Valley or Queen Creek or something like that, yeah, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have not only an agent who doesn't work for the builder helping you, but you're going to have a home inspector involved who doesn't work for the builder as well. Because like it or not, the builder's job, they want to get the house built, they want to get it done, they want to get it sold, and they want to get paid. Nothing wrong with that, but corners do get cut, and it's really important that you've got somebody other than the builder advising you and helping you and making sure that the boxes are checked. You know, there's definitely good reason to have somebody watching your back, especially if you're buying a new construction home from a distance. You might fly into Phoenix, we could show you around, and you're like, yep, that one, I like that one, cool. But then you're gonna fly back to wherever you came from, get your affairs in order while they're building your house, and you're just gonna hope the builder takes care of it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But again, give us a call. We'll make sure to get you hooked up with the right home inspectors, the right agent. We have agents actually on my team. I'm a broker myself here, but that's definitely something that's very, very important, that when you buy a new construction home, you're working with that builder. And if you don't go to a third party like a real estate agent or a realtor, you're not gonna have that third party representation to kind of hold them accountable. So make sure you do that. So another serious con, and I just had another client have this happen. They didn't call us ahead of time. They found a new build home, made an offer on it, you know, sat through the whole presentation and, you know, picked out a house. Everything should have worked out good, except for, you know, they did a bunch of upgrades. And here's where the problem actually came in. The deposit, it was huge. It was like $27,000 that he had to put down, and he didn't have anybody reviewing the contract with him to help protect him. And what ended up happening is they delivered the house about 7 months late. I'm not gonna name the builder or the neighborhood. The house ended up turning out fine. fine. The construction quality was fine, not an issue there. But here's what happened with the delay. They wanted to come down here from up north in Colorado, and they couldn't. And so the whole winter was wasted. Now the house is delivered in the middle of summer when no one's around. And the market also shifted in that period of time. We're talking, he bought the house in 2023 or 2020, late 2022. It was delivered in the summer of 2023. In that time period, interest rates are super high, depending on when you're watching this video, right? And housing prices were kind of a little bit subdued, especially in a 55 and up neighborhood. He was stuck. He wanted to cancel the contract and get out, but if he does that or did that, he would lose that 27 grand. There was zero penalty on the builder for delivering late. So you're gonna wanna make sure when you're negotiating contracts, or if we're gonna help you negotiate a contract to buy a new build, that there's a delivery date, and if they don't make that date, there's gonna be a penalty, or there's gonna be a way to get out of it, or there's a lot of other ways you can protect yourself. But he is here. Definitely don't just sign whatever the builder puts in front of you. There is some wiggle room in negotiation to make sure that people are held accountable. And in this day and age, things are just happening so fast. Even at the builders, their employees and their managers, come and go and then move around. I mean, it can be a mess. So if you don't have that one person that's got your back, it could be definitely difficult. I hate to say the word dangerous, but because no one's getting killed over this or anything like that. But you see what I mean? It's definitely important to have somebody that does this on a regular basis lead and guide you through the process to make sure things, the outcome that you want is what you get. And if it doesn't work out, then you have the ability to get out. So another con of new construction, and I guess it depends on your budget, right? But for the majority of new construction homes, land became way more expensive over the last 10, 15 years, and lot sizes are a lot smaller. If you're looking at homes built, 20, 30 years ago, you can find really nice sized homes on really nice big lots with mature landscaping and trees and privacy. But a lot of these new build communities, you're giving up space for outdoors. And if that's important to you, to have a little bit more wiggle room between you and the neighbors, space for the pets or the dogs to play outside, they can bark and maybe not quite annoy the neighbor as much. A lot of the new construction communities might not be right for you, but that doesn't mean there aren't good options out there. Again, if your budget is significantly higher, we do have some clients who are, they're starting off at around $1.5 million and up. Yeah, that's a different story. But if you're kind of looking at new construction between that 5, 6, 7 to 900, $1 million, $1.2 million, pretty much you're gonna get a nice house, maybe even a pool and things like that. But the yard size is just, they had to cram it down. It's a serious con that a lot of people just kind of swallow and have to take because, what else are you gonna do? So another con of new construction, and I kind of alluded to this because to some people it's obviously a pro, you get the latest, newest, nicest styles and designs. But the con is that so do all of your neighbors who are buying brand new homes in the same neighborhood at the same time. So, if being a little bit more unique and having, your house is important to you, older neighborhoods might be better. In fact, there's a lot of homes in central North Chandler, or even southern Chandler or Gilbert that, are coming up on 15, 20 years of age, and a full remodel might get you all the style and look that you want, but you've also got more character and more, bigger yard, a little bit more things to look at, maybe even a little bit less expensive than the brand new construction house. I mean, obviously a fully remodeled home is basically a new home, but there are definitely, that's definitely something you're going to want to think about and look into when you're considering your options. So guys, I hope this kind of helps you open up your mind a little bit about some different ideas around pros and cons of new construction. It can be really, exciting, especially when you walk through the new build homes, or the model home tours, and everything's bright and shiny and new. Keep in mind though, those model homes, especially on my other video, and I mentioned this there as well, those homes have basically every premium option you can think of. So the house that you actually order and buy in a new construction community may or may not be, with all of those extra shiny, fancy options. And so when you actually get the house that you buy and you move in, sometimes the reception's a little bit lackluster because you saw the pretty shiny house with all the extra tile and the extra, a lot of extras that make it just pop, plus they're staged with really nice furniture and everything else that's going on. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here is that, there are pros and cons. Location is a big one for a lot of people. Like I said, the new build communities are definitely on the outskirts of, pushing further and further out. So depending on where your work is, or, where your friends live currently, or if you want to be in proximity to, going out to shows and things like that, the location definitely matters. I'll just give you an example. One of my clients from Chicago, her her and her partner. He sold his condo in Chicago and she already had one here in Phoenix, but they wanted new construction. Sounds good, nice new things, but they didn't want to live out in the suburbs. They wanted to be in, the Biltmore area of Phoenix. They wanted to have the ability to go to art shows and go out and do this and go to concerts and go to all the kind of things that are really big in that part of Phoenix. So yeah, we went and found the other option. We found a fully remodeled, flip house. Again, flip houses can be hit or miss. Some people do a really good job at, putting lipstick on a pig, as they say, but you want to make sure that it's, it's done properly and, good construction. So that's where a good inspector comes in who knows about those kinds of things. Again, we'd love to be there for you when you're ready to make that move. If you are exploring options of moving and relocating here to the Phoenix metro area, we are a real estate broker team. I'm David Van Asche. You can give me a call, shoot me an email, send me a text message, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back when moving here to Phoenix, Arizona. And until the next video, guys, catch you on the next one.